Welcome back to the Chatline podcast. I'm Emily,
I'm Missy.
and we're here to give you the rundown on the latest celebrity tea and everything else that's going on in our crazy lives. So let's get into it.
Yes.
Okay, you finally did it.
I finally did it, only because I was sick.
You know what? We'll take the blessing.
It's really cool because, of course, we're talking about, do you want to tell
The
everybody what we're talking
Secret
about?
Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yes, and season 2 is coming out. I thought it was already supposed to be out, but do you know when it's coming out?
There's no official date that I know of other than just spring 2025. They announced finished filming back in early January. So
Okay, so that would be a quick turnaround.
yeah,
Huh.
but it's supposed to be, I bet it's going to be like April, May before it comes out, if
That
I
would
had to
still
guess.
that'd still be a quick turnaround for a reality show, but hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah. So when the second season comes out, are we going to talk about it every week?
We don't have to talk about it every week, but we should talk about some of it. We'll have a watch party.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Well, I need to know, do they drop all the episodes at once or do they do it weekly? Do you remember?
When I watched it, they only had 8 episodes in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they dropped it all at once.
Yeah.
But the Kardashians are only dropping once every week. So I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And
They're
I bet
smart. Hulu is so smart because, sorry to interrupt you, but because that is literally a few years ago when they started it. That's the only reason why I signed up for Hulu.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it keeps you for several months on Hulu. Whereas if they dropped them all at once,
then you watch it and then you're
done.
No, it is really smart. And I bet the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives won't come out until all of this new season of the Kardashians is out.
That would be smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're both Hulu exclusive. Although the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives did have the same season, same episodes, different edits on ABC. And it was just, yes. So I think that's very interesting.
Huh. Like regular cable ABC.
Regular TV where you could just watch it. Because my mom watched a couple of episodes because it was just on Channel 6 or whatever. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So it's the same episodes. There's no crazy new content, but they do have different edits. So there are a little bit of different thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge Sister Wives girl.
Yes.
Have been on that wagon as soon as they loaded up. I was all in all the time. We have been getting, as Americans, we've been getting snippets on TikTok now of where I think it's the Australian edit or the UK edit that gives us more information.
Wow.
It's nuts.
It's crazy because it's the same stuff, but it's different edits. So you get different. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a conversation. I don't even know if you know who these people are, but Janelle and Mary had a conversation together of where Janelle was talking about finances.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Australia got 2 or 3 extra minutes than we did. And that's what we as an audience have been waiting to hear.
Yes.
For, 20 some seasons, how does all of it work? And they're finally spilling the tea and we only get half the cup of the tea. Yeah. Okay.
That's
anyway.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the main show.
Okay. Yes. I want to know what you think of all the girls. So we're going to do a little recap of your opinions, but then I have some new stuff to tell you about what has come out recently.
Okay.
Yeah, because they are all big social media. These are, for those of you who don't know, the TikTok mom talk stars. So these are all the girls who are make a ton of money on TikTok, got really famous, several million followers, and all of them are the breadwinners in their house. Through social media.
Yeah, and honestly, after this, did look through who I could remember their social media to kind of see how many views their videos got, because I was just curious.
Yeah.
And I did notice that when they all got together and did one of those dances that, listen, I'm not one of those people that goes on TikTok to see the dances.
Right.
I'm interested in other things.
Yeah.
But I understand that's super popular for some people. Those videos of where they would get together skyrocketed.
Yes.
And I'm like, so why you all would not put all these differences aside
and just do it?
Just do it? I can't comprehend that.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you get together, it's like when you and I get together and if we do a post, or Rebecca, when she posted her branding stuff, she invited collaborators. So it's Now all of my audience is seeing her stuff and all of her audience is seeing it. And whoever else is like invited in, all of the audiences are like combined now. So it's going to be more because Taylor's going to post some Taylor Frankie Paul and then Layla's. Yeah. Okay.
So, for those of you who aren't on YouTube, you just missed something.
Okay. Let's get into it. Let's get into
Okay.
it with the girls. Okay. So
Because I text you, was it after the first episode of where I said, is it all Taylor this whole
Yeah.
entire season?
Okay, so let me tell you something that you may not know, but I can tell you
Okay.
now that you watched it.
Okay.
So this first season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives was supposed to be about the swinger scandal. It was supposed to be about how this group of mom talk influencers who are all getting together and who are all like doing these dances are actually all sleeping with each other, sharing husbands, that kind of thing. So that's what the show is originally supposed to be like going into the scandal. Because when that scandal happened, it blew up and different people posted different things. And then it was like everyone was assumed to be in it. So it was supposed to be like, okay, here's the rundown. However,
you do get snippets of that, but honestly, if you had not told me, I don't know that I would have really picked up on what they were talking about.
They only talked about it like a couple times in the very early episodes. And then it very much like became, I want to say more like the Housewives kind of vibe.
I would agree with that. Just everybody out for their own.
Yes, and just everyone talking. Yeah. So I do think, okay, originally there were supposed to be 3 other girls on the show. Yes, but they dropped out after all of the filming had happened. They like ended their contract. So they had to, so the first episode that takes place is part of a different series. But because they like were like, no, we're dropping out of this, they had to refilm the rest of the series.
Who are those other 3? Do you know?
Camille, I don't know her last name. I don't know them because I do follow all of the girls who are on the show, but Mom Talk is so huge that there's like I think a lot of girls in it. But the Utah Mom Talk it's got a lot of girls in it, and the girls who were with Taylor Frankie Paul, and they're called the twins because they look like sisters and they're blonde.
Okay.
The whole thing that went down was those 2 sisters were part of this swingers and invited Taylor and her then husband to be a part of it.
Okay.
But one of the sisters' husband, they're not actually sisters. They just call them the twins because they look alike.
Gotcha. Yeah.
One of the blonde girls' husband, they crossed a line with Taylor and created this like love triangle where Taylor was in the middle with her husband and this other girl's husband, because this other girl's husband started developing real feelings for Taylor and was very into her, very interested in her, and they ended up hooking up together separately without everyone else.
And I'm guessing that's against the quote rules.
That's against the rules, right. But if you're swapping and switching like that, then congratulations, you're inviting the sin.
Yeah.
And that's what Taylor said, like during her divorce. She said it's so difficult because, you know, my husband was the one who brought this into our marriage and wanted this. And now he's upset that I've enjoyed it, you know? Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's incorrect. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, my first vibes from this girl was that I would never want to go to a party that my husband was at with her. Not because I think my husband is going to do anything. She's just one of those women who has to be the favorite of every man in the room, is how it came across to me in the first episodes.
I agree. I agree. And in the first couple of episodes that I watched it, the very first time I had to watch through with it, I was like, I cannot stand Taylor. Why is everyone hating on Whitney? I love Whitney.
Yeah.
And what is going on here? Because everyone is wrong. Everyone is wrong. Let me tell you my opinions, you know? But I think you're absolutely right. And then I don't know if you've caught this, but in one of the later episodes, when they're like going through like the truth box and they're like, whose husband would you, you know, whatever. Demi, I forget her last name, but she's married to Brett, who is
older, right?
Yeah. And the ex-husband of one of the Desperate Wives of Utah, Salt Lake City. Yeah. Yeah. So she's married to him, and she goes off on Taylor for saying like, or for being like, no, we were at that party and you were rubbing all up on Brett. You were extremely drunk. No, I would have been so upset too. Demi was definitely in the right there. And Taylor's like, well, why can't you forgive me for that? No, like, that's not something you just forgive. And she said, well, you knew I was a swinger. She said, no, I didn't. And Taylor was trying to say that Demi knew what was happening at that party. But her and Brett would always, yeah.
Yeah.
And I do believe that her and Brett really did not know. I can absolutely understand how you don't know. Like you're at a party, you're with your friends, hanging out at their house, and then all of a sudden, you just look around and you notice that Taylor and someone else's husband have been gone for a minute. You don't know. I
Would
would
you
not.
even clock that? I mean,
Maybe, probably not though.
yeah.
Especially if there's multiple couples there. No, I don't think I would.
Okay, so I was going to save this, but I'm afraid I'll forget it.
Okay.
We're talking about the swinger part of this. Did you notice in Macy's, and I know I'm jumping way ahead, in
Yeah.
Macy's launch party,
Okay.
and she had a tattoo chair there.
Yes.
Did you possibly clock one of the tattoos that they showed?
Was it a pineapple?
It was an upside down pineapple on someone's forearm, like being done. And I mean, it was like boom. And I meant to go back and watch it because I'm like, surely this is a fever dream and this is not really what is happening. But I was like, okay, editing, right?
Right.
Who knows if that was even someone's arm getting tattooed at Macy's party?
Right.
Because just like you said, it was supposed to be about that scandal the whole time.
Yep.
But yet, I almost think it was like one of those Easter eggs of where the producers were saying, hey, this stuff is still happening at these parties.
Interesting. Okay, so you're talking about her launch party for Baby Mama?
Yes.
Her company? Okay.
Yes.
That's really crazy. I have not seen that. I watched it a couple of times too.
I mean, it's one of those flashes, and I just happen to be, normally I'm like playing a game on my phone while I'm watching this, so I don't think I've ever seen it otherwise. But like I've said now for 4 hours at nauseum over the last few weeks, I was in such a state of flu that I was literally just having to stare at the TV. Like I couldn't do anything else. And so I think I saw things that I normally wouldn't see.
Wouldn't have seen?
Yeah.
So there are certain episodes like the Galentine's Day party episode and some of the birthday parties and the Baby Mama where some of those girls who are part of Mom Talk but not necessarily like in like the main group that's being on the show are there and are showed up. And apparently season 2 we're supposed to have a different cast. A lot of the same girls.
I would
but
really
different.
like that to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted. Like, do you want to go through the cast? And I was just afraid I was going to forget to say that about that pineapple tattoo because I was like, I almost text you. And then I was like, no, I'm going to save it for the pod. And, so, because it could have been one of those things where everybody was talking about it and I just wasn't in the loop. But I do have a question.
Yeah. What's your question?
Okay. My question is Mom Talk like trademarked? Like, or could you and I go on TikTok and do hashtag Mom Talk?
Yes.
Like, why couldn't we do? I mean, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But what is the big deal about Mom Talk? Like that others can't get in?
No. People can get in on it. Absolutely. And after the show was released and got so popular, you saw a bunch of these groups getting together where it was like Mom Talk Tennessee or Mom Talk Illinois.
Like that.
Yes. And I don't know if any of them have taken off, to be honest, but I think what happened with this group is that they would hashtag like, oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so hashtag Mom Talk.
Sorry, can you hear the helicopter?
I can't, no.
Okay, well, if anyone hears, it's a helicopter, and we're okay. We're just in the line of whatever flight. Okay, sorry, go ahead. I would love, like, Mom Talk Tennessee sounds super fun.
Yes, like, so there is nothing other than, I think, a lot of these girls before social media happened, and a lot of them blew up in 2020. That's like when they started getting very popular.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because 2020 TikTok was all about the dancing and all about like that kind of thing. Not so much, you got like a lot of different content now, but before these girls got like TikTok famous, there is a underlying very wealthy, like that they are like millionaires before TikTok happened. So they would, a lot of this would like, they do big giveaways. They do like where it's like $2,000 giveaways and like follow me, comment. Have you seen those?
No.
Where it's like a Louis Vuitton, a Dyson Airwrap.
So I'm going to be honest with you. Whitney and Taylor, Frankie Paul have come across my TikTok and I scroll as fast as possible past them.
You don't want it?
Like Whitney even was like in Swig the other day and she was like, people for some reason say this is my Swig order, but this is actually my Swig order. And I was like, well, I'm kind of curious, but scrolling away as fast as I could.
Like, I don't want this on my feed.
That's so awful. Well, see, that's another thing. Sorry, I
Yeah.
keep getting distracted. I know we need
No,
to talk
it's
about
fun
the
to talk
women
about.
individually, I know. But like the swig thing, like everybody was going on and on about that. So I thought I was going to be seeing that continually,
Yeah.
constantly. They were always going to be talking about it. But if like you hadn't told me about it and other people hadn't told me, I don't think I would have clocked that either.
There's only like, it's not like major. There's like one episode where they're meeting at Swig and they go through their Swig orders, but that's not all the girls. And there is that one episode where Macy's like talking to, oh gosh, what's his name? The baby daddy, Taylor's baby daddy.
Is his name Dylan?
I
don't
want to
know.
say Dylan.
That might not be right. I know
Yeah.
who you're talking about. I got opinions about him too.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna run through all the girls.
Yes.
Okay. And their connections.
Okay.
So number one, Macy Neely. So Macy is married to this guy. She had her first baby when she was in college, and she was a like D1 athlete for tennis. She got pregnant. Her and her boyfriend at the time were like excited, but then they got into an argument and she was like texting him, but she didn't know it at the time. He was texting while driving and died during that time.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So she's huge Mormon, right?
Yeah. She's one of the saints.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. But I mean, was she excommunicated or whatever because of getting pregnant? Okay.
No, a lot of these girls, I think it's very similar to like a Southern Baptist kind of like culture where it's like, oh, you do this in this way. And if you don't, then it's like looked down upon, but it's not like thrown out of the church level. At least, yeah, from what I understand. And then the churches that they are involved in, the way that they are.
Okay. And it almost seemed like that they were pressured to get married, almost like my generation versus like even now around here. But okay.
Yeah.
Wow, absolutely. I had no idea. They don't say that in the show, do they?
I think they do, but you might have been in a fever haze.
I mean, I would have been really interested in that. Like, that is so sad. And that would have made me more interested in Macy because I was kind of ambivalent towards Macy. Like, I did not like her, but I didn't like love her. So
Macy, Jessie, and oh gosh, I can't remember her name now. Michaela. Those are my favorites. And I'm gonna go to
like Jessie. Okay.
You don't Jessie?
All right. No, let's just keep going through. It's fine.
Okay.
I feel like I need to watch it again while my brain is more connected.
I like Jessie because of what's come out recently, but we're gonna get to it.
That would make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So that's Macy, and she now is married to a different guy, fallen in love with him, and she just announced she's pregnant too the other day. So they have like 3 kids together.
How is her company doing? Do you know, like the baby mama?
I don't know. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, so that's baby mama, and she owns it's a prenatal, postnatal infertility because she's had a struggle with infertility too.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So that's been a big thing that she's talked about and struggled with. And a lot of it too is like, it's so interesting because at the same time that you're watching this, they also have their social media very active. So like you can like go through and see like, oh, during this time, this is what they posted and this is what, it's crazy. Yeah. And so that's Macy. Taylor Frankie Paul. So she's the one, she is the swinger. She is the face, quote unquote, of swinger mom talk and all of that drama.
Because she outed all of them on social media, right?
Yes. Well, all this stuff was like rumors were going around and she finally like did a live and was like, hey guys, we're all swinger. Everyone in mom talk is a swinger. We've all slept with each other. And it was like blew up huge.
Yeah.
So even though that was not true.
Yeah.
But she is the one, I don't know all of her connections, but she had a husband, all that we just talked about, was in a love triangle, whatever. Now has this baby with, I think his name is Dylan. She had that episode where she got arrested for domestic violence.
No.
Yes. And I have opinions about that. I think they both should have been arrested, but I think she was reactionary violent because she had peed herself in fear.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she doesn't have problems and I'm not saying she shouldn't be held accountable.
Right.
But I think he talked his way out of that one, to be honest.
He is problematic in general, in my opinion. And are they still together? Are they together now? Do you know currently?
I think they're trying to keep it like mysterious because of the new season coming out, but I don't think they are No.
Okay, this is horrible, but I'm going to say it. If they had told us that they were not sober, I would have thought drugs.
Well, I don't think they're sober. No, he's a recovering drug addict.
Right, but I mean, on the show, wasn't he sober? They said that he was
Well,
in recovery, which
yes,
to me means you're sober.
but they would then post on their social medias. Like she posted this video where she was like, how many days sober they are. And she was like 3 days sober and he was like 4 days sober. So no, I think recovering means a lot of different things. And you see some of those episodes and he's
That
like,
makes so much more sense, Emily, because I was like, I don't
he
want
looks
to judge.
cracked out.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did not want to say that, but I mean, that is
Yeah.
what he comes across as. Either
Yes.
Adderall, some kind of,
Hard drug.
like
Yeah.
just not real twitchy. And I
Yes.
was like, yes, maybe he's just has ADHD severely. Because,
No.
right? I mean, and you want to believe someone when they're saying, I'm in recovery and I'm sober and I'm working on my life, but they did not seem like people who were sober at
No.
all.
No, I
Or
don't.
even if they were in recovery, they were triggers for each other. Like they did
No,
not need to be in a relationship.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. But so, okay, so she's got
But
the,
I will give her this much. As she got more and more pregnant, I liked her more and more because she
yes.
was just so tired.
Yeah.
Like, dear God, I'm so
Yeah.
pregnant. I don't care about this drama. I was like, I
Yeah.
could really relate to her there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, don't tell me I'm starting to like her.
Right.
But it was just in those moments. Like,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Taylor Frankie Paul. Then we've got Michaela, who I don't know a ton about her connections, but during the filming, she struggles a lot with eczema, like all over her
Yeah.
body,
Yeah.
like painful flare
Yeah.
ups, and it's like to a chronic level. She's talked about that and shared about that, and she's like, it's just I'm so drained. It's
Mm.
hard for me to like be on this show right now. And she's like, I'm excited because I'm starting to recover and I found like some things that help me, but it's really hard. So she's looking forward to season 2 because she feels like she can be more herself now.
Okay, that would be
Yeah.
good. She was very blah, like I
Yeah.
hate to say that. And
Yeah.
because I've dealt with psoriasis, like I was actually looking forward to hearing her story and,
Yeah.
relating to that. And she would come like no makeup a lot of times, which I was like,
Yeah.
girl, you're on TV. I mean, I
Right.
hated to be like that,
Yeah.
but like, girlfriend.
Yeah.
But maybe that was because of her eczema. They didn't say
Yes.
that though.
Yeah.
But I want
Well,
to tell you something, no matter how you feel about Whitney, and I know we're going to get to her. When
yeah.
Whitney came to Michaela's birthday party, I thought Michaela was rude.
Was that the bowling alley or the roller
Yes,
skating one?
one of
Yeah.
those. It was one of those. And, Whitney had brought this gift, and Michaela basically she was just rude. And just with our Southern roots, let me
Yeah.
say that, I don't understand that level of rudeness.
I
Like,
think you're
it
right.
is completely foreign to me.
I do think that was a loyalty thing for Macy because Whitney just skipped out on Macy's big party. And
Yeah.
I think Macy and Michaela are good friends. And
Okay.
I think Michaela was, and I think too, a lot of these girls met each other during filming, even though they're all part of Mom Talk. But I think a lot of them also did know each other before.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's why we see some of the clickiness. But Macy and Michaela knew each other before filming.
Okay.
So,
But wouldn't you rather if I were Michaela, and I mean, you can't hide when you're mad. We as women we can't hide it, right? So, I mean, I would, in that situation, at the age I am now, right? I have to always clarify that because I know these are young moms who are dealing with hormones that,
yeah.
thank the Lord, are gone from my body. I was thinking about, well, what should Michaela have done? What would be the Southern way to do it? Well, the Southern way to do it would be like, oh, thank you so much, all sugary
Yeah.
sweetness. So
And then
I
talk
don't,
about it.
I don't, right. I don't think that's correct. But I was like, I think that Michaela could have looked at Whitney and said, I really appreciate you showing up and bringing me a gift. That's really kind of you. Whether she thought it was for, selfish purposes and making a show or whatever. But she says, I am having a problem because you didn't show up for your friend. And I am, Macy is too sweet to say this to your face, but I am so angry for her that
Yeah.
you let her down, that I'm struggling to be nice right now.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
I would have followed Michaela on TikTok. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Michaela is like 23.
So young. Oh
So,
my word. I know. Well, you're younger than that though, right?
yeah, I'm 22. But I don't
Yeah.
think I would have done that in that situation. I wouldn't have
You
been like,
would.
oh, thank you. I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have done.
And I mean, she had a long walk. Like, we'll get to it, I'm sure. But Whitney had
Yeah.
a long, it wasn't like she just appeared and nobody knew that she was there. It's
Right.
like you had a minute to like pull yourself together.
You're right. You're right. It's not like it just took her by surprise. But that doesn't make for good TV.
True. True.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
honestly, it would make really good TV for me. If
Yeah.
someone looked someone else in the eye and said, you know what? This is what bothers me.
Yeah.
You know, and we can talk about this later. You know, I'm a super loyal friend, and you doing that to Macy just does not work for me. But you know
Well,
what's
maybe
cool, Whitney, is that when I'm your friend, I'm going to be this loyal to you as well.
Well, maybe that was her just genuine reaction. Maybe she was just really rude and there was no
Yeah,
underlying. Because there were times throughout the show where they were like, no, I have a problem with you, Whitney. Talk to me about it. Or, oh, I have this problem. Talk to me about it.
that's
So
true.
maybe she was just rude to Whitney.
I don't know.
Okay, so that's Michaela.
Okay.
Let's talk about Whitney.
Okay.
So Whitney is known for the RSV video.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one? I don't care which
Seen
way
it
you
on-
spin it.
What?
I don't care which way you spin it. That's crazy work. That's crazy behavior to do.
Don't know how I feel about that.
Really?
Because, yes, I know this is shocking.
Okay.
I think about if I had a baby in the hospital, if it's the way that Whitney says, okay? So I'm giving her a lot of benefit of the doubt. I realize that. If she was like, we'd been in that hospital for 3 days and we did not know how we were going to make it. And I was praying to God and just so sad. And then the doctor came in and gave us this incredible report.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. And so here we are dancing with our baby. I can get that. I'm being honest. I can get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But knowing the character that Whitney reveals about herself makes it confusing. I'll say that.
I think, okay, so Demi and Whitney did that ketamine therapy session. You know about that, right?
Right. Where she, quote, confessed.
Where she said, no, I did that for clout. Now, knowing what we know about Demi, I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay, girl, what we know about ketamine.
Right.
I mean,
one of my favorite things about like what's come out since the Mom Talk show is that they'll be like, yeah, as Mormons, we don't drink, we don't do drugs. Me and Whitney did ketamine.
And the whole laughing gas with Botox.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can, like, they were laughing and moving so hard. I'd be like, are you going to mess my Botox up? Like, I've never had Botox, but I would think you have to be still
to get the injection. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know. I feel different about the laughing gas than I do the ketamine.
Absolutely 100% different genres.
Yeah.
Different genres of drugs, if we want to say.
Also, this just goes back to like what I've said about like if rich people are doing it, then it's a luxury. If poor people are doing it, then it's
Emily,
gaudy.
I don't know that you've said that out loud to me. That
really?
is wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because isn't ketamine like Special K on the street? Isn't that what they call it?
Ketamine was like a horse tranquilizer kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm
like,
pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
Because people on Housewives that have been accused of doing this literally don't remember anything from the night before. Like, I've always been like, because I'm naive, I've always been like, how can they say those horrible things to each other and then the next day be okay?
They don't
And I'm
remember
like, they don't remember.
Yep.
Wild. But no, that is wild what you just said. And I think it bears repeating. That if, how do you say it again? If you're rich, it's a luxury.
Yeah, if it's rich, then it's a luxury and it's viewed as like a very like proper posh thing. But if you're not, then it's, I don't know what the word is for it, but it's trashy. Yeah. It's a luxury if you're rich and it's trashy if you're poor. This is how it works. I'm not saying I want to do ketamine.
No, I don't either. Listen, I've told you about my experience with Xanax, that I was doing some, just so everyone is clear, I wasn't getting it off the streets. I was giving it in a doctor's office. and had a real good experience with a pumpkin muffin that I will never, ever have again.
We'll get you for your birthday. We'll get you some Xana
No, 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 no.
and a pumpkin muffin.
Yeah, right? I'll be living my best life.
Yeah.
I'll be in rehab for my Xanax, which is not funny. Sorry,
What?
y'all. 'Cause it's a real issue. But I mean, I'm just saying that ketamine is not like a drug of choice for me either. I
Right.
want to know what's happening.
Yeah. Laughing gas is more our speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand how you can look at that and be like, oh, it's a therapy. Like, that's how they framed it. They're like, no, we did ketamine therapy. That's not
Okay.
what happened.
It's also like I always say the wrong word. I always say ashwagandha, and that's not correct.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, ayahuasca.
Yeah.
There is no way on the planet you would be able to pay me enough to do that. No way.
Wesley and I are too, I don't know what the world is like. The word is, it's not spiritually inclined, but we are too open to things that we have seen too much in the spiritual realm and world of things.
Yeah.
That kind of thing freaks me out. Like hallucinogenics, is that what they are? Yeah. I can't.
You know, they're like, oh yeah, you throw up and then you start seeing your true self. And I'm like, I'm not interested in either one of those.
That is
What?
no. I will stay far away from. What do you mean? I take this so I can throw up?
Yeah.
No.
If you're lucky, because anyway, listen, that is a whole nother podcast. Let's move along.
We're gonna have our next episode will be about drugs.
Right. Two people who know nothing.
Come get high with us, except we don't know what we're doing.
No, we'll have a Mountain Dew Zero. Be living our best lives.
No, look at the Santa.
Yeah. Yeah. You will
Yeah.
see my teeth go yellow as the podcast goes on. I love my time. Yeah. Oh my word.
Yeah. So
okay. So Whitney, though, sorry. So the RSV thing you think is a no matter what. You should never film a TikTok by your sick baby.
I think that's a pretty low standard, you know, yeah, you know what? I'm willing to stand behind that one. Yeah.
I'm willing to hear Whitney out, but
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know about this video, her child is in the background in the hospital and he has been struggling with RSV and hospitalized, and she is doing the renegade dance in the background of it, and she's explaining the story while she's dancing. I don't know about that one. So that's Whitney.
Okay, I did not look it up to see because I was like, I'm not going to give it another view. So I really can't say firsthand how I feel about that. I just didn't look it.
I'm going to send it to you. You're going to watch. We're going to give it another view. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was interesting how on the show it was brought out. I don't understand why the public forgave you, but it's not forgiving me. And I was like, well, did she actually say she was sorry and take it down? Probably not.
No, I don't think she took it down, to be honest. I mean, it's still getting views, you know? Yeah. I think I think her opinion of it is he was recovering. Yeah. And I was sharing what had happened. And at the time in 2020 or whenever it was, dancing was how we shared TikToks. So, yeah. I can hear her out for that part, I guess.
Okay, so do you think that Taylor and her have an issue with each other because of what the other women said? Like that they both want to be top dog of mom talk?
No.
Okay.
Although I don't think Taylor really cares, to be honest. I think she cares about what all the husbands think about her.
I agree.
I don't care. I don't think she cares about the women. I think Demi is out for blood and being the top mom talk.
Really?
Yes. And I don't really care for her, to be honest. I liked her a lot watching the show. I really liked her, but I don't know now. Because I feel like she really spoke her mind. And that is, I think, a big problem that women typically run into with each other is you just don't tell, what Whitney did. You just don't tell what's going on. You just kind of whatever. And then you talk about it behind somebody's back. You know what I mean?
Which
and I do feel
go ahead.
I do feel like Demi was no. What problem do you have with me? Let's talk it out. I do like that episode where she made Whitney cry, and she's like, no, stop running away. Let's talk about this. You're gonna be big and bad behind behind someone's back, but talk to me now. I do appreciate that.
Was she the one that Whitney gave the gift to, or no?
Yes, the fruity. Okay. Here's what's come out about that. Okay. that whole situation. So for those of you who don't know, the Fruity Pebbles was Whitney, and whenever they did the ketamine, she shared this story. Actually, no, they were on a brand trip. And she shared this intimate story of her and her husband, doing this escapade together and, getting a little freaky with it. And then Whitney, for her party, was like, it involved Fruity Pebbles. So Whitney brought this gift wrapped up, and it was a box of Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, we might have to change this to explicit for just a second,
Mm-hmm.
because I have
You
to
wanna know what
ask
it is?
you. No,
Because I know.
no.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to tell me that off mic. But
Okay.
you will be able to answer this question then. So I was never, oh my word, I can't believe I'm going to ask this on air. But
Okay.
I could never gather whether the escapade involved Fruity Pebbles or if it was a scent. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, you smell like Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah. Okay, let's just go with that. You know how they say, I'm really, really sorry, but you know how they say that if you eat pineapple, things like are fresher. So I was like, well, what makes you smell like Fruity Pebbles?
Where can I get some of that?
Sorry. Well, Clary wanted to know. Okay. So,
No.
I mean, which was it? Honestly, did something happen with actual Fruity Pebbles?
Something happened with actual Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but did you think that gift was like horrible and awful?
No, because all of the
Excuse
girls.
me while I fix my bangs after laughing like that. Okay.
Maybe not all of the girls who were at the party knew about it, but all of the girls who were on that brand trip knew about it because she told everybody who was on that brand trip. But, if you're not supposed to share something that you and your husband didn't want to share, then don't share it. I'm not saying that I haven't made those mistakes, and I understand, like, but I think she immediately was like, no, and blamed Whitney and was like, I'm so sorry, Brett, that kind of thing. This is Whitney's fault. I can't believe she did this. Instead of like being like, no, this is my fault. I shouldn't have shared this with anybody.
I totally agree with you. I think her defense was that I explained 14 times that this was going to be like an elegant event and all of this. And I can't believe that Whitney did this horrible, horrible thing.
It's not that.
No. And I think, have you heard of like the Barbara Streisand effect?
No.
Okay. Well, that's what this is. I forget what it is, but like it seemed like there was something with a dog that somebody named a dog Barbara Streisand. I mean, something crazy. And nobody was paying any attention to it until Barbara Streisand sued the person. And then it became huge news.
Yeah.
And so I think because she made such this reaction
that everyone's going to be like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah. Of course, she said, Whitney, you are hilarious, and set it to the side.
No one would have known.
Nobody would have. It probably wouldn't have even made the cut in the edit room.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. I think this has come out since the filming and since the show's been released.
Okay.
There are text messages between Whitney and Demi where Whitney texted her and was like, do you think this would be funny? Let me bring it up. Like, is this... And Demi was like, yes, this will be hilarious for the show. Let's bring it on. And then we could talk about it. And then that's why everyone was like, why is Whitney mad that Demi's mad at her? That's why Whitney's mad.
So much sense. And she couldn't say that without betraying, like, to the nth degree that we've tried to script some of this show.
Exactly.
I really don't like Demi now. Demi, whatever.
Yeah. Demi, whatever.
Demi.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that Demi and Jesse look so much alike. I do not understand. Like, I really struggled keeping them separate for a while.
Yeah, it's hard, and especially in the first couple of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Jessie, I love her. I love that she's like this big bad business babe. I love Jay-Z Styles. She's done so much with that. She's got this huge hair salon. Just being honest, me and Wesley have looked at like going out there to get extensions, like how much that would be. And
so
you know
Wesley
what?
wants extensions?
No. Just for me.
Yeah.
No, like if I'm flying out to Utah, he's coming with me, So
Utah is gorgeous. Like, I actually highly recommend going to Salt Lake City. It's
one of my bucket list places is to go to Utah.
Yeah.
So I was like, we could go there. We could get hair extensions from Jessie. Like, it would be so exciting. Yeah. But she's got her hair extension brand. I think she's got her own color brand. I might be wrong about that. But I love everything that she's done with her hairstylist brand and salon,
Mm-hmm.
and her mom do it together, even though she's kind of taken it over. But I really like her for that fact. However, I think she's tried to say, like, no, this, okay, so her last baby that she just had, like, recently, she had a divorce in between being pregnant and the baby's birth. And so people were like, oh, did you cheat on your then husband with the guy that she's married to now? And whose baby is it? And she's like, no, I never cheated on him. And they're like, okay, well then whose baby is this? Like, this is your other husband's baby. And she's like come out and said, I know that's so confusing to keep up with. She has now come out and said that her husband that she's married to now, it's his child. But the timeline doesn't add up. You can't not have cheated on your husband.
If it's
And
really,
yeah, but I think her defense is like, no, we were separated. We weren't public about
okay.
it, which it could be true.
Okay. Can I just say that the whole separation thing confuses me to no end?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you just have to decide between yourselves what that means, because I honestly don't know
Yeah.
if you're out gallivanting around when you're separated, quote unquote.
Yeah. And then you work it
that
out.
cheating? Like, I mean, I think all of it's cheating, but I mean, I don't know like what all that means and how all that is.
I think you can be in marriage. I think you can be legally separated. And that's while the divorce is processing. So I think from a legal standpoint, when you are legally separated, it is not considered infidelity, like cheating.
Okay, so it can't come at you on the divorce.
Yes.
But I mean, I
But
wasn't even thinking about that. That's so smart of you to think that way. I was thinking morally, you know?
well, morally, yeah. Morally, if we're married and you're sleeping with anybody, it's cheating. You know,
Yeah.
like
That's kind of
whatever
like
that looks like. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. So that's
okay.
Jesse.
Okay.
Okay. Jen? Is Jen the next one? Is Jen the last one?
Did we really talk? Yeah, you talked about Macy because you told me Layla.
Yeah.
You remember
Oh,
Layla?
I forget about Layla.
Yeah.
She's not that interesting.
Well, Layla doesn't have as many views as the others because I did look her up. I
Yeah.
don't remember why. She's such a
Yeah.
little thing. Like, she's so young.
I think, actually, okay, first off, Michaela is the one who got pregnant at 16 and married her husband. But she was 16 and he was like 22. So, and everybody's husband except for Brett, except for Demi's husband, I think they are very, like we talked about last week, very feminine, very not
It
masculine
seemed
men.
like there was somebody else that was like a bodybuilder type, but I can't remember now. But we're done talking about Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, Dylan is a masculine looking man.
Yeah, but his actions
No.
are so bad that I can't even think that way.
I think he's a deadbeat. I think he's absolutely a deadbeat.
Yeah, for sure. We haven't gotten to the husband I really want to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, poor little Layla. We love you, Layla. We just don't know anything about you. Okay.
Yeah. No, she's doing great. She's the one who
beautiful.
Yeah, she's currently not with anybody and has had a divorce.
That's
And
right.
good for her.
She was divorced. Oh, I do
Yeah.
want to circle back to Whitney for just a second.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to say this delicately, so I'm just going to say it. I think the reason why I was Team Whitney from the get-go is because I related more to her just normal looks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and she...
You know, she wasn't the size 2.
Layla, who's a pole.
She's probably a 00. Layla is probably seriously a 00. And so I think that's why at first I wanted to like her and wanted to be Team Whitney, was just because gosh, that's horrible to say, but because she's cute. She's very cute, but she looked like at that time, I don't know what she looks like now, but she was struggling a little bit with her.
Yeah.
You know, before you've said that you're between stylists, some actors are between stylists.
Yeah.
You can tell that's kind of how it felt at times with me.
Yes.
I didn't like her style at all. That threw me some. Because she was almost trying some of that, like the prairie look at times, right? Or whatever that trend was at the time. And I know then it was super on trend, but I was never.
No, there are a lot of people who have talked about like what in the world is Whitney wearing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of common.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
okay. Next.
Yeah. Okay. Jen. I forgot about Jen. I really love Jen.
Yeah.
And her husband is Zach. And her story is that she grew up, you know, lower income with her mom who worked really, really hard. And she said, just to put it into perspective, her mom is on the cleaning staff at the same hospital where Zach's dad is a surgeon. You cannot tell me there's not a power imbalance in that relationship.
Correct.
in a very negative way. I'm not saying that, like, of course I want Wesley to succeed and like be the best. And, I would love if he was like, some mega CEO. Like, that's not going to bother me if I'm a stay-at-home wife and he's a CEO, but knowing that my mom, works, that creates generations of problems, especially with the kind of structure I think Zach's family has and expectations that they have. I love Jen so much. Her personality, I think she unrightfully so goes through a lot with Zach. And not only put him through medical school, put him through his bachelor's degree, is planning on putting him through medical school. He gambled away all of the money that his parents gave him to pay for undergrad.
Shocking. Yeah.
So she did it. And then they take this trip to Vegas. She's super excited about it. And he's like, well, you're going to give me money to go gambling, right? You're going to give me money. And she's like, well, how much? No. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. But she can't do anything. And I'm not saying Chippendales is the place, because there's no way Wesley would be like, yeah, go to Chippendales.
She didn't know, though.
She did not know.
Surprise.
And I've been in those situations before where it's like, oh, all my friends have taken me to this place and now what do I do? How do I get out of it?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. And it's whatever. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be willing to be uncomfortable for your partner,
right,
to get out of whatever, but you don't know what to do. You've got this camera crew following you. You're supposed to be here. Like, what are you supposed to do? I don't think the way he reacted was fair at all.
Nope.
At all.
Mm-mm.
Wesley would be so mad at me. He'd be so mad at me. But he would understand I didn't know what was happening. He would understand I did everything that I could. I immediately told him I'm out of there, whatever.
Think that he, in a normal, healthy relationship, I think that the guy would be mad at the person who organized it. Mm-hmm. And would come and get your wife in an Uber and say, honey, I'll be at the door. I know this is uncomfortable for you. And so I'll meet you at the door. So sorry you were put in this situation.
Well, here's the other thing. Jen has talked about how uncomfortable she is with his gambling. And you know what's fine for him to go do? Yeah.
How can this man not be in Gamblers Anonymous? Because, or whatever that is.
Right.
He is full-blown addicted to gambling.
And on top of all of that, like, he's like, no, I'm divorcing you. Like, I'll leave you in an instant. I'll leave you in a heartbeat.
Oh, unacceptable.
You're going to like being a single, how are you going to like being a single mom of 2 kids? Like,
well, she
good
would
luck.
Probably love it. It would be less gambling.
When she is the one who's paying, he doesn't have a job. He's in school. He doesn't work at all. She funds their life.
Do you think he's cute?
No, and she is gorgeous.
Yeah.
She is so cute. So, like, I love her looks. I love her looks. She's like chipmunk. Like, she's adorable.
She's very beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a few things I want to remember about this. One is about him, like, uninviting people to their baby blessing. And then also, though, like, whoever brought the liquor into their home, to his parents' home, I actually thought was inappropriate.
Yes, I agree.
The boundaries and all of that. And so, everybody's like, oh, they're so uptight. And I'm like, no, in a strict culture like that, that's...
well, not even just a strict... No, not even just a strict culture. It's just, that this is something that someone is uncomfortable with. Why they've specifically asked not to. Why are you bringing it in? No, I do agree with that. Okay, even though I don't like Zach. I think that was right. And I do think for something that you want to be sacred and special, you don't want people there who are acting a certain way. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
That is bad, though, that she had invited them already. And that was hard.
That was hurtful.
Yes. I thought at that time in the series that Zach wasn't a bad guy.
Exactly.
And I thought that he was taking the blame.
Yes, for something she messed up.
Yes.
And I think you're probably right.
I think he's just awful.
I mean, like, in that situation, I think it was something she messed up that I think he did take the blame for it. I don't know that he necessarily was like, no, I don't want them there.
Really knowing him later?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Zach. I assume they ended up moving to New York, right? For his medical situation.
I think they've moved back by now, though.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So, and she's posted.
He will always be a problem.
Yes. That's not getting better. Yeah, he's 27.
Yeah.
He's pretty much set in stone.
Well, I think it's because he's not admitting yet that he has an issue, right? If he admits that he has an issue, and we have gambling in my family. And so this is something that I'm not an expert by any means, but I can kind of, anybody could tell the
Yeah.
side of Zach. You don't have to be an
Yeah.
expert, but it's very telling. Like, I
Yeah.
think he was doing the distract method too. Like, he was
Yeah.
texting her all that horrible stuff while he sat at the blackjack table so that
Yeah.
she wouldn't be like, well, where are you? And
Yeah.
what are
She's
you
tore
doing?
up. She's tore up
Yeah.
crying at the house,
Yeah.
not even thinking about like, what's going on here.
And
Yeah.
I also thought those guys, like, keep coming to the girl's place was wrong. You know how, like, they would just show up at their door and knock on the
Yeah.
door? And I was like, if I was with my 6 girlfriends on a weekend, I might not be wearing appropriately clothing
Right.
24/7 because we're all girlfriends hanging out. Not something that I would want somebody's boyfriend coming in.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree. I agree. I do think oh gosh, what was I going to say with it? I don't remember now. I was going to say something about
Okay.
that, them coming in. Yeah. I think there's a sweet aspect to it, like, oh, I'm checking on
Mhm.
you, whatever. But Taylor was fed up with him by the end that she was like, no, why are you, what do you want? Why are you calling me? And then I'm going to hang up on him.
And then when he crawled in the bed with her when she was trying to sleep as a
Yeah,
pregnant woman, and
that's
he was like,
weird.
"No, we're gonna talk about this now." I was like, "Oh, that is, I know this is an
No.
overused word, but that is so toxic." Like, if you are not willing to give your partner some space to sleep a minute when she is that pregnant and that exhausted, and you're gonna wake her up just to get her to love you and agree with you and give you the affirmations that you need,
Yeah.
that is not good.
Also, let's talk about this. He is a recovering, whatever that means, addict, alone in Las Vegas. When he called Brett and was like, man, I'm freaking out about these guys touching my girl. I thought it was funny that Brett was like, no one is touching on.
Yeah.
He said they're not doing that. Yeah, but he
Know
was
what
like,
that phone call was about. Like, do you think productions saw that he was spiraling and was like, "Hey, call Brett, who can you
no,
call?"
I think he did that. I think he was high or like messed up on something because he was like, man, I don't know. Like that was not panic. He was messed up. He's alone in Las Vegas.
I know. Because his buddy that he brought is at the blackjack table.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think what was his allowance? Like $250? He blew through that in the first 30 minutes.
No, 2,500. Yeah.
Well, he still blew through that in the first
And
30.
it's not even his money. He's asking for, I mean, they're married, but he's asking Jen for it and then berates her like, well, what are you even going to do? You're going to be a single mom of 2 kids. And then what? As if she's not the
Be
breadwinner.
like, you're going to be a broke medical student. Then what?
Yeah. Then what?
Buddy?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
because of what you mentioned at the very beginning, the power dynamic, I mean,
Yes. Yes. Okay. Since we're talking about the husbands, how do you feel about Connor, Whitney's husband?
yeah, I mean, he's fine.
Okay. Okay. I don't
Do you
think,
think he's a little more feminine than, is
I
that
don't
what
think
you're
he's
getting at?
into,
I thought that's where you were going. I just really hesitate to make those,
yeah,
I don't know.
you're not sure. Okay.
A lot of my problem is, have you ever seen Sold on SLC at SL's whatever it is, Salt Lake City? It's the new real estate show
Okay. Okay.
about Salt Lake City. Anyway,
Yeah.
most of those men
Are just
are very
feminine.
metrosexual.
Yeah.
Like, they get the
Maybe you're right.
Botox. They get they are into their looks. They are
Yeah.
getting the tanner, the
Yeah.
self-tanning. Whereas if someone around this area
Yeah.
did that, you would be looking at them like side-eyed,
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right.
That's the only reason why I'm reserving judgment. Like,
I
this,
do.
yeah.
This is something that I think about them with Taylor. I think Whitney is upset that they were never invited to the swingers parties. That's the
yeah.
vibe I get.
See,
That's why I think
I
she's up.
know why you're saying that, but I disagree. I think they
You
are
don't think
not
so?
into that.
Really?
Listen, I am never going to be insulted that I'm not invited to a swingers party, right? Because I think
Right.
you understand very quickly when you're around another couple where if they have boundaries or if they don't. I'll put it
Right.
that way. And so I want people to know that when they're around Mark and I, that we have boundaries.
Yeah.
And that just is what it is. And so why in the world would you tell me about the swingers party going on? I really think she was offended because she was put in the whole, we've all done it.
I don't know.
We agreed to disagree.
Yeah. There were several times throughout the series that when anything sexual was brought up with all of the girls, it was Whitney who was doing it. Like Okay,
Well,
the vibrator branding, which I feel different about. That's not necessarily inherently like sexual, but like the who would you go lesbian for in this group? That was, if you look at the writing, she is writing with a blue pen and she's the only one writing with a blue pen. And that was her question.
I don't
It was
even.
also the question that said, Whitney, how do you feel about Taylor? How do you really feel about Taylor? That was also written in blue pen.
Hmm.
So she wrote that question in too. It's like, Whitney, how do you feel about Taylor? Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I'm being a Whitney apologist, and I'm really not.
Well, I like Whitney. I
Well,
like Whitney.
the thing about it is I have to remember how I felt about myself
Yeah.
sexually when I had
Yeah.
just had babies.
Okay.
You are, even though it seems like that you would be the most secure that you've ever been in your whole life, for me, it was the opposite because everything about your body changes.
Yeah.
Everything. And so you are just like, is my husband still attracted to me? Even though he's like
Yeah.
definitely giving you all the love and support that you need and that, he is capable of, right?
Yeah.
That's why I've always said and will continually to say that if you don't get all of that filled up with Jesus, right, then you are no man or woman on earth is going to be able to fill your needs, right? But your hormones are, getting back in place, which I've heard it takes like a year to do that. I
Wow.
mean, it is so much going on in your body, with nursing, if you're choosing to nurse and all.
Yeah.
And so I think about where Whitney is and that apparently can't remember when she got pregnant again.
She got pregnant again towards the end of the season.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you think about, and their babies were young still, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of that and just remembering I still want to feel sexy. I want people to know that me and my husband are still having a great relationship because of the insecurities that you have.
Yeah.
I just remember so much of that, like the head games with
Yeah.
being in a group of married women where you're,
Yeah.
just so hard.
Yeah.
And so even though anyway, I just think about those kind of things when I see these young women. I will tell you that because I'm used to the older housewives, I always on those shows were like, I want more conversation. Why aren't they giving us longer conversations?
Yeah.
Well, in Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I was like, why are they still talking? So I'm like, oh, maybe
This is
Bravo has like more of the idea of leaves you wanting more versus I
Yeah.
felt like this edit was a little long in
You had
place.
too much. I can Okay. Okay. I can understand that. I can understand that.
But you don't agree, right? Like you like the long conversations.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
I don't
like,
Yeah.
are you watching any Housewives?
No, but I want to. I want to get into them.
I don't know that you should, but it's a long, dark road.
I did not know it, but I love reality TV. I do.
I do
Yeah.
too. I love, if I were to recommend anyone, I think I've told you this, The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is
Yeah.
amazing, especially once Jen Shaw goes to jail. And that is caught on TV by the,
Wow.
like the
Okay.
raid that happens. I mean, but
What did they find?
I feel like you need to watch it.
Okay.
She is currently serving her prison term. So, I mean,
Wow.
it's for real, like what happened. Yeah. We could literally do a whole podcast on Jen Shaw.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not saying this because she's serving time. I never liked her. I never understood why people liked her. Like, she was so volatile. Oh, my
Okay.
word. Like, screaming, throwing things, like that volatile. Yeah. And then
I'm
I
sorry, that word holds like a special place in my heart.
inside joke that we are
Yeah.
not going to share.
No, we cannot
My
share.
word. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to have to strike that from my vocabulary. Okay. Another one that I really, really loved was The Real Housewives of Miami.
You like that one?
I loved it. But they did two like iterations. Like it was a lot of the same cast, but they actually, I forget if it was 2 or 3 more current seasons. I started with those and like really, really liked it. I mean, when I tell you the last season, and I don't think they're coming back. Like I think they're gone for it. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to finish what I'm going to say in just a minute, but I will tell you that Larsa Pippen is on there. Do you know much
Okay.
about Larsa Pippen? Okay.
I don't know.
So I watched the current ones and then I went back and watched the old ones. You cannot recognize Larsa Pippen. She is a whole different human. It is
Like,
wild.
she's had work done kind of thing?
Yes. And
Wow.
she used to hang out with Kim Kardashian and all that. Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go back and watch any of the old Kardashians, like you'll see
Yeah.
Larsa, and that's
Okay.
who that is. Okay. So in the latest season, this is going to sound so terrible to make fun of, but it literally was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on reality TV in my life. So they went on one of their trips to Mexico City.
Wow.
So yeah, and so it was really cool. Of course, because they're in Miami, some of them are Cuban or have Cuban roots, Latino. I mean, all the stuff. It's really neat. So most of them are very fluid in Spanish. Okay. They go down to Mexico City on this girls' trip, and they go on this boat, and they're supposed to like be seeing all these beautiful sights, and they come across this. They're like, we had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, I knew these were my girls. So anyway, but they pull into this place and it is all of these dolls. I about said dead dolls. Dolls are dead. I mean, they're all like really old, like battered dolls hanging from the trees, right? I mean, it is the spookiest, craziest thing you've ever seen. It's daylight, but still, it's really creepy. And so there are women on this boat, grown women, like, in their 40s, 30s, 40s, whatever. Okay, one has actually had a horrible issue of where her baby died. So it's bringing back trauma. So, I mean, you've got that. But the way that they are screaming and being dramatic, it's like some of the best TV you will ever see in your life.
It's just like this boat pulling up of women yelling and screaming.
Can't go on there. And then, there's others that are just, oh, this is cool, and they're like going through all the creepy spaces and going to the bathroom or whatever. But then there's the boat part of it, of where, just the screaming and crying. It's some of the funniest, horrible TV you will ever see. Yeah.
Imagine you pull up and this is where you're told to go. I would freak out. out. Because already we know that, especially recently, like Mexico is not necessarily safe to be for women.
That's true. I hadn't even thought about that. Surely there was security. But I mean, it's so crazy. Like it's worth the watch. I've never watched Real Housewives of New York. Like I'm not interested. Don't care. So there are some, like the one that was in Dallas, I've never seen that. I mean, so.
I tried to watch part of it. It's on Netflix, and I think it's The Real Housewives of South Africa. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so interesting. Like, because I love a Nigerian accent. Like, I could listen to that all day long. And I was like, oh, I'm so excited about this. And like, some of them have that kind of accent. Or I'm not, sure what the dialect is. But we were, like, I was watching it, and I was like, huh. It comes across as, some very, very rich couples and people who are trying to act ghetto. And it doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like if you're watching. Yeah, it's so, I don't know how to explain it, but it did not come across as like, oh, they're being like, their Real Housewife self, or oh, this is the drama here. It's like it felt like they were trying to be what the American people wanted from them. That's what it felt like.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah. And I'm sure if any of them heard me say that, they would like, absolutely not.
And you'd be like, well, okay, invite me over and we'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
I'll take a free trip to South Africa.
Yeah.
I'd
prove it.
Yeah, I really liked Real Housewives of Dubai too, but it didn't make it either. So I almost feel like if I'm watching it, it's not going to make
It's not going to make it.
I don't know. I will say this, like I do watch like the Beverly Hills iteration as well and things like that. I know that I'm supposed to think that people who have all the fillers and Botox and all that are beautiful. I'm just completely honest with you. I'm getting tired of the look. Everybody is looking the same.
People who are getting that procedure are tired of it too, because there was this thing that went around maybe a month ago that was like, who's the new surgeon in Hollywood? Who's the new plastic surgeon that's out? Because these people are looking so much better now. These people are like the Lindsay Lohan transformation. And it's people getting their fillers out, getting their, and just going back to just plain regular Botox without the fillers or without the buccal fat removal. It's just Botox now. And people look so much better.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's not even natural versus not natural. It's just looks so wild. Have you ever seen any of the shows with the Silva twins, Darcy and Stacy? Have you seen any of that?
I think so, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. My bangs are really annoying me. I need to stop fiddling.
I think they look good.
Thank you. You're sweet. After I fixed them. So Darcy came out on 90 Day Fiance years and years ago. I don't even remember because I don't watch it anymore. But Mark couldn't stand her. If you ever see the meme about you have to cut the meat on the bias, on the bias, on the bias, like she kept saying that, it drove Mark insane. He was like, the dumbest thing, she needs to be quiet. I was like, what? Anyway, so I mean, she's been on reality TV for a minute. And so she has this twin, Stacy. Anyway, the amount of work that they have done on their bodies is ridiculous. And it's actually really sad. And for some reason, Stacy's looks better than Darcy's. Like it just, it's even though they're twins and
yeah,
it's rough.
It's
really
gotta be
rough.
hard to be a twin and see that your twin has a better, that's gotta be hard.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, if I had the money, there were procedures that I would have done. Absolutely. But I don't know that I would go hard in on the paint with it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I would do a total body recomp, you know? Like, I don't want my face to look so unlike me, but I would get a nose job. I absolutely would.
What?
That's
What
like, okay,
but your nose?
besides my like actual like weight, I hate my nose. I've always hated my nose. No, it's like a bird beak. I hate it.
What?
Would get it.
I am being completely and totally honest with you. I have never noticed your nose as being weird or big or bird-like. No, seriously. No, seriously. I've never, ever thought that. Ever. Isn't that wild how we see things in ourselves that other people literally
never notice.
Never notice.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I just don't like, especially from the side. I hate it. I hate it so bad. I want it to have a little boop, a little.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. And before you do it, there are two people on Real Housewives of New Jersey who had their noses done, and people are like, I can't believe you did that. If you look up Rachel Fuda and Jen, oh my word, Jen Aiden, Aiden, they have the same nose job. And I don't think it's bad, but it's obvious. And I think it's exactly what you're talking about.
I definitely did not pull up the right thing. I searched Rachel Fuda. It pulled up
Fuda's nose.
It pulled up a foot model for OnlyFans. So I spelled that wrong.
Well, it could be her. Rachel Fuda from Real Housewives of New Jersey. I think this is worth you seeing. And Jen Aiden.
Okay. Yes.
See how the little tongue up nose?
I think it looks better than her original.
Well, they get really made fun of over it. I don't think it's too bad, but everybody calls it a botched job. And I'm like, I don't think they think it's botched.
It does look too small for her face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does look shrunken.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I thought you were going to say things and I'm not meaning this in any way, girl, because I've had some stuff done that just comes right back. But that's what you hear these people say. They're like, oh, yeah, I had lipo again for the third time. Whereas crazy. If you do a lipo consultation, they tell you it doesn't come back. It most definitely does come back.
Absolutely. That's the first round of stuff that I'm doing. First round, I'm getting a BBL, you know,
No, those are so bad.
It's supposed to be the most dangerous, but listen, I'd do it.
Really?
If I had the funds to do it, I would fly to Turkey, go to one of those all-inclusive resorts where they do it.
Yeah, that's what the Silva twins did, so make sure you don't go to their doctor. No offense to whoever.
I do like Dr. Miami. I think he does good work.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't need to know about him.
No.
I'll be go into him.
But I would.
Yeah.
Besides my weight, and I think when I get to where I want to be, when I lose the weight that I want to, because we're in the gyms as much as we are, I think that will even out what I want my body shape to be. But I would have extensions. I would have Botox. I would have a nose job.
Have Botox?
Yes.
Because of the glow or what? Because it does make a difference in the
Your
glowy
luminance.
something about it makes your
Yeah.
skin glow.
I think it's like a good preventative. I
Mm,
don't know.
yeah.
Why do other girls do it? I want to do it because they're doing it.
Yeah. I'm just afraid. I want to see them in 10 years. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's what I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. Like, I definitely would be a good candidate for all that. But yeah, I don't know. There was something else about that, about plastic surgery and Turkey. Oh, well.
Watching my forehead now. I am excited though to have like smile wrinkles and smile lines. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've
Your
always,
character.
yes, always as a kid, I've always wanted that. Like I can't wait. I think that's
Tell you that the men that are doing Botox, okay. So a good example is Nick Lachey from Love is Blind, because we talked about Love is Blind last
yes.
time. Does he not look completely Botoxed up to you?
I think he does. Yeah.
Like,
And there's too much.
men used to age and look better.
Yeah.
But now I think there's this weird 30 to 50 age that these Hollywood men are doing that they actually look awful because
Yeah.
they're being Botoxed so much.
I think you're right. And I think it can very easily turn into like oh, I need more Botox. Because
Yes.
I get that way with my hair. I'm like, oh, I need more blonde. Oh, I need more blonde. I get blonde blind.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Botox blind is something too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and filler and
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, we went
Yeah.
down a rabbit hole.
Well, on that note, you are perfect the way that you are. If you are listening to this, you are beautiful. You do not need procedures. But, if you were to win the lottery, send it my way. It'll be put to good use.
That's
So
funny.
that's all we have for today on this week. Thank you so much for listening to the chat line. We're so glad that you're here and listening to us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a review, heart that, turn on our notification bell, do all the little things. It really helps us so much.
So much.
Yeah. Thank you and bye-bye.